Hey lovers, hey haters, hey fans. Hi. Hope you're catching all our content. Sisterhood Sips is off the motherfucking chain. Okay, the comments that show is getting is just this is gonna be good. I'm telling you, I love what Haran said about Sisterhood Sips. It really is the changing of the guard. Just for the record, with the manosphere and the red pill and all the biased channels crumbling and eating each other, they're literally eating each other now. We are the new, okay, up and coming, fabulous, all right, podcasting. So stay tuned for us. If you don't believe me, go to the Sisterhood Sips page. It is off the chain. The reaction is off the chain. And I think people have been craving this type of content, this type of real content, this fair content, this unbiased content. It is what it is. The gloves are off on Sisterhood Sips. And we've been telling some truths, and we are fair down the line. So if you're looking for a biased channel where, you're not being held accountable on either side, men and women, yeah, you're not going to like Sisterhood Sips, but it's still good medicine. With that said, guys, welcome to another episode of On the
I have
Daily.
something to say. I was nervous about this last episode. I thought the married people was gonna come for us and be like, "No, you're lying. That's not how it is. You don't know what you're talking about." And it was the complete opposite. Like they came through and was like, "Yeah, no lies detected. This is
Right.
yep, yeah." And so I was like, "Wow!" And they said pretty much what you just said is that this was needed. This is needed conversation. So that made me feel really good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm really, really proud of it. Really, really proud of it. I met with a sponsor today, Lily, and I tested out his products. But he was like, "I want it to be real. I don't want you to do," because he's an old friend of mine from like 15 years ago. He started a candle company, and he was like, "No, I want you to burn the candles. I want you to tell me what you. I don't want you to just throw something up there, because there's money involved." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm with you. Ain't no lying on Sister Sips. Either I like it or I don't. And you'll be the first one to know."
Yeah.
All right. Hi guys. Hi Haran and No Saint.
Look at these two.
Hello.
It's just look at him. No Saint, what you just finished doing in that bed?
What?
Is that a bed behind you?
Yeah.
Plans after the show?
I'm at work. That's my.
Even more interesting. I love it.
No Saint started an OnlyFans on us.
We're having some alone time.
Yeah. Sometimes you need alone time.
Yes, you do. A lot of time you need alone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my sound is weird. All right, guys. All right. What's up, E Black TV? Good to see you again. What is that? Twice in a month? I feel special. How are you, sir? All right, guys. Thank you, POP. He says Sisterhood Sips and one-on-one is new and groundbreaking. Much props. Thank you. That means a lot because we are working really, really, really hard. We make this shit look easy. It's not. We're working really, really hard. There are a lot of moving parts to it. It's more than just you see, I'm hoarse, sounding like freaking Marge from The Simpsons. It's a lot of talking. There's a lot going on, but I'm so I can't even tell you how grateful I am that you guys tune in. You know what I mean, to us and listen to us. I'm telling you, check out the clips. Sisterhood Sips is really off the chain. Tristan says Erica saw the pics No Saint was liking. She kicked you out. Vete de aquí, ahora mismito, vete de la casa. No Saint. Oh my God. See, E Black say you look like you're getting ready for a scene.
Erica finally realized, like, hold on, did I let him go all the way to Vegas with a hot Latina and a hot train? You we had some retroactive resentment, right?
Yes,
like we
yes.
were like, you know what? In 1986, that motherfucker, we'll do something like that. So
That sounds like the ultimate joke. A hot tranny, a sexy Latina, and a white man walking the bar.
hey, we have skits. So.
We even have skits. The block even has skits.
Right.
What is of it? POP, I got you. I told you I read typo. I read typo, baby. I got you. I got you. All right, guys. So, how are you? I have a teeny bit of fluff. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because when I tell you I am sick of this family, I am even sick of this family. Okay? It's a little teeny bit of fluff. We're just gonna lick the head a little bit and we're gonna keep pushing. Okay, it's not even gonna be a whole session of fluff. All right, just let and that's it. Okay. All right. So Will Smith, it's okay. You can let it out, no saying. Let it out, baby. This is the block. Okay, so Will Smith is just having the worst year of his life. Okay, the very worst year of his life. So someone on his staff is blowing the whistle about Will blowing the whistle. Okay. He said that apparently, and this guy, Will Smith, can't deny that he knows him. Will Smith put him in his book. There's lots of videos of them together. There's footage of them talking. This is his ace boom comb. He got his arm around him. He's like, this is my dude. That's why I put you in my book. Will told him, that's why I put you in my book. So Will can't deny this is some groupie or disgruntled. Okay, so the dude went on Tasha K. And he's spilling all the beans about the Smith family. Specifically, he said that one time they were on set and everybody was looking for Will. Where's Will? Where's Will? He said, I'll go get him. I know where he's at. He claimed he had the keys to Dwayne Martin's locker or whatever, locker room or whatever the hell. He said he went in there and Will is the bottom. And he was taking really heavy duty back shots from Dwayne Martin. He didn't even say that, I just walked in on them having sex. He was like, no, Will was getting rammed. Like he had to add that in there. So it must have been a sight. And he was like, and Tasha K was like, what happened then? He was like, well, I looked at them. They looked at me. I looked at them. So is this true? We don't know. But that is what his people are saying. And that guy is also releasing a book. So this is like Will's like worst year ever. However, he's been very, very stoic. He's made jokes about it. It seems like he doesn't care. I guess he's in that tax bracket in that age where he's like, what else can y'all do? At the end of the day, I pull up to a mansion and you close your laptop. I don't know if I was in that tax bracket, that's how I would feel as well. Fuck, I feel that way now. So I can't even imagine tangibly pulling up to a fucking mansion and people talking shit about me, right? Keep me in the press. Of course, the bigger deal is the gay factor of this thing, because people still care about man's asses, even more than me. I like a nice round man ass, but apparently
me, yeah, but this is crazy. I don't get it, but okay.
I'll pass the mic on that. We can hear briefly what we think about this new revelation in the Smith saga, and we can move on to the code switching, because the code switching is quite interesting, especially a point of view that Haran had that I do want to break open. What do you think about Will being a bottom? I actually thought he was a top, but he's a bottom.
But I've said on this show a million times, Jade is the top and he's the bottom. I've said that a million times, and I mean
really?
it.
I always pegged them. Pause. I always pegged them for being a top, not a bottom.
I've always pegged Jada for being the top and Will being the bottom. I'm dead serious when I say that. Like, I'm saying it as a joke, but I'm being dead serious when I say it.
He's a power bottom, it sounds like. Not just a bottom. He's a power bottom.
Yes.
Allegedly, according to this guy.
According to this guy, I mean, and this is an upcoming interview, so that was just a snippet. He's spilling all the beans about the Smith family.
But see, oh God, there's so many things wrong with this. First of all, so-called, because he was labeled as the so-called best friend, right? So it's like, okay, there's always these Hollywood best friends that ends up being the one that running their mouth the most. I don't know what this guy's end goal is, because it can't be to ever work anywhere in Hollywood again, because no one will ever trust you again. But my thing is this. I'm going to say this. In 2024, can we take something into 2024, or actually take something out of going, let's leave it behind. And what that is I'm at the point, there's two things I don't need to know about anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know, I don't care about your sexual preference. It's 2023. We know people like to fuck. Okay. So that's the first thing. Humans like to fuck. Let's just go ahead. Can we all agree that humans like sex? All kinds of sex. Yes, lots of Lots and lots and lots. Okay, that's the first thing. So I can care less. It means nothing. And I don't, and I also don't need to know who you believe in and what you believe in. It's none of my business. It does nothing for me, right? So I just feel like in 2023, going into 2024, this shouldn't even be important anymore. Like it just the fact that the story kind of makes my eyes roll, but it's just gutter bucket the way he did it, like the way it was done. And of course, Tasha K, she's here for it. She picked it up. She likes to pick up the gutter bucket trash anyway. So I don't know, but that's my take on it. Gentlemen,
Yeah. Yeah, it's listen, I think the biggest thing is that for whatever reason well, I know the reasons, but we're in 2024 and people feel like they have to hide, if this is true, hide this. And it unfortunately, because to be honest with you, it shouldn't be anything. If that's what he likes, that shouldn't be a big deal. But in today's world, it still is. So, but I also think about, I think we brought this up on the show before, and I don't know if Will fits in this category or not, but like Steven Tyler, right? Didn't Steven Tyler say that he tried to be with a guy or something and it just wasn't for him? I think when you get to a certain level of wealth and fame, especially someone like Steven Tyler, where he's had as many, he got bored. Let's try something new. I'm not saying that's where Will's at, but when you get into that tax bracket and you get into where,
testing.
yeah, you're good, you're good. But it does throw some, curiosities towards his being with Jada. Was Jada like kind of like a beard, because their relationship is really strange. I mean, they're married for life, and we now know that there's a lot of stuff going on. So I kind of wonder, maybe he, maybe he is gay, and we just, and Jada was kind of like his beard. But is it a big deal to me? Not really. It's anytime. It's like, well, it's voyeurism's always fun, but it's not really a big deal to me.
Hmm. I mean, he could possibly be bi, and like she can possibly be in on it, and I don't see anything wrong with it if that's their marriage and their relationship and their agreement. It really wasn't none of our business. Just like I didn't like Jada telling everything. I don't want to hear from her or him. It's just none of our business. It's unimportant. It does nothing for my life. It does nothing for our life. And the fact that people just like erupt over it is still weird to me. Like that we're still doing this at this stage in the game, and we're going into 2024. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't understand people's fascination still. I guess it's because it's a celebrity. I don't know how that works. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's because the way he told the story, because that clip was very sensational. It was very, because he didn't just say, "Oh, I walked in, Will and Dwayne was doing that thing." He was like very graphic, very very graphic, and I was like, "You must have got kicked out the whip."
Yeah, and
That's what it was.
and you're saying that, or I think Jen was saying he's coming out with a book with this, right? This is a story in his book or something. Is that brought up at all?
No, I think Jen was saying that Will had a book,
Oh,
and this
okay.
guy, this guy was all throughout the book because this guy supposedly Will's former best friend slash employee. I guess he worked for
Mhm.
Will at some point.
Well, you can't say something, and I don't know. I mean, he's at risk of getting sued for sure. I mean, if Will wanted to pursue that, if it's a lie, if it's a lie.
Oh, I've been corrected. There is a book coming.
Oh, okay, okay.
So now I'm thinking about other things
Which
now.
which is even, I don't know how you would prove the guy's lying if he is lying. I mean, Will Smith, I'm talking, if Will Smith wanted to sue, I don't know how you could prove that the guy's lying. It's like he against word, he said, but that's I don't know. Well, I don't know what Will's response is going to. Did Will say anything to this allegation at all?
I think Jen said I didn't know that he said something, but Jen said something about him. Hold on, let me see. She said something like he was making fun of it or
Mm.
making light of the fact that
Well,
it's out.
that's kind of that's probably the best
That's the
thing
best way to
to
do
do.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you show that it's bothering you, then it's going to be a bigger deal. Everybody's going to keep on, you know, letting that thing live. But if you're like, if you let it, you know, like a lot of some celebrities do that, where someone will say something and like, yeah, they'll either admit to it and then it goes away, or they whatever, you know. That's probably the best response.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, okay, so Jen said he didn't, but see, this is the thing. Oh, he's making joke of Jada's situation, like what she's
Okay.
saying. I do remember that. I did see that, but I haven't heard anything him respond about this guy. But this is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because prior, like these rumors have been around for decades. Okay, so it's just kind of like the confirmation. People have been talking about the whole Dwayne Martin, Will Smith entanglement for
Mm-hmm.
a long time. And Dwayne Martin's ex-wife, Tisha Campbell, she alluded to that. And one of the things that she said is that when her and Dwayne were at risk of losing their home, Will purchased their home. So that home that they live in, Will Smith bought this man a home. So it's like Tisha was putting out little breadcrumbs for us to pick up after the divorce because you could tell she was angry because I think he left her with $7 in the account. So she was a little bit angry. So she was kind of subliminally dropping things.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that was the only little clip that was available. It's a teaser for, so I guess we'll have to revisit when the entire interview drops, because I think it's going to be chock full of very scandalous details. No, I did hear you say about like suing him or him denying it. Um you know, they're probably, honestly, Will and them and their PR people are probably waiting for the rest of that interview along with the rest of us to see exactly what the guy is going to say. And here's the thing, if it is true, um, Will is going to have to go back to the red table with a grenade and just be like, yes, I'm gay. Yes, this is an open relationship. Yes, he's going to have to do the Eminem at the end of 8 Mile. Yes, my parents should say, yes, I'm this. Yes, I'm that. Because after that, there's nothing left to do or say. And it's perfect timing for Will that he's doing it in this environment, because now everything cycles in 24 hours and nobody cares. That's why cancel culture is dying, because nobody cares what the person said. Nobody cares. The N-word, gay, the straight, you bitch. No, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore. Before it was a big deal, but the power ran out. It was abused. So now the power ran out, and even big brands are like, we can't cancel all these celebrities. We're not going to have anybody to sell our shit. Right?
Right.
So we'll see what happens as this develops. We'll keep an eye on it, because if he went that far to say that, who knows what else all he's saying. And if it's true, that means he has more information. So is Will really going to die on his hill, keep fighting that he is gay, that it is an open marriage, that he hates Jay? Are we really going to be doing this? Like, in my opinion, he's too old for that. Like, I wouldn't want to be going through this. I'd be like, look, make me whatever you want to be. Back to Eminem. I say I am whatever you say I am. Back to my mansion.
Right.
Like, that's how I would feel about it.
It'd be
Because
all
I
right.
live that way now.
He, personally though, I mean, what's that other motherfucker's sexual? What's his sexual secrets? What's his dirty laundry? A lot of people love to talk about, the Will Smiths of the world and so on, and whatever he does is his business. But I say that to that guy, and I say this to everyone. What the fuck are we gonna find out when we look in your browser history?
Well, I told y'all what's in mine.
Let's normalize everything. Since we want to, we need to normalize people coming out. Okay, let's start with you. Let's start with your shit. You know what I mean?
Mine is going to be threesome with Chewbacca and Venom. What does Predator look like naked?
And another thing too, whatever he does is his business. He's exploring himself, and let's be real with each other. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, sexual conversations like this are tough to have in the black community because black people are notoriously conservative and fucking boring when it comes to sex.
And prayed up, honey, and prayed up. Prayed up God's way.
It's like 90%, like a good 95% of black people, you know what I mean, think
Are gay?
no, they think being, I don't know, being a freak and hypersexual are the same thing. No, it's not.
Say that. Say that.
Being a freak and hypersexual is not the same thing. No, you just like to fuck, but you could also like to fuck literally in the same position all the fucking time. That doesn't make you a fucking freak. You know what I mean? But if we really want to, like, if a chick sucks your dick from the back, that doesn't make her a freak. Like,
Yo, you better come with it if you want to get stuck from the back. This guy,
you know what I mean?
From the back, you're nuts. What am I doing? What are we doing?
I mean, I messed with a white woman one time before. She said black men, even though they are the black dudes that she messed with, even though they are very animalistic and primal in bed, they're very conservative.
Very.
They're extremely conservative.
I got a co-sign that.
I want to say,
so
don't we do a show about this?
And look, listen, and I was saying, in terms of black women that I dealt with, I only saw the freaky side of them when I gave them the okay that I wasn't going to judge them afterwards. Okay. It's like it's like they gotta make, like, it's like a lot of black women gotta make sure the coast is clear before they really do.
I'm just curious because it is. I agree with you, Byron. Okay, backwards is crazy. Can anybody lurking? Hey, guys that are lurking, and people in the chat, gentlemen on the panel, getting stuck from the back, is that a good feeling, or is it awkward, or is it uncomfortable, or do you have to have a long schlong? Like, does that feel good? Getting sucked from the back, is that, because I hear a lot of guys like, yeah, she sucked it from the back. Is it a thing? Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it more than the straight up sucker? Give me something. Give me.
I've never. It's not nothing wild to me. It's not like I see fireworks. Like, no, now.
Okay, so it's a novel. It's just a novel act.
I give props to the, like, look. There's been some women who literally just know how to create some sort of suction movement just on your head and stay there and give you the best fucking head you ever had in your life. They don't even got to do all the shaft work and all that other shit. They just know how to just stay on the head, do some shit with their tongue, and the next thing you know, you fucking like you're convulsing. You know what I mean? It's all about technique. It's not all about this theatrics and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like actually knowing where the nerves are and where the spots are and how to time certain things. Very few women know how to do that shit, man. Very few women know how to do that shit. And the ones that do, I let them raise their voice to me a few times in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I've given them a pass a few times.
Right, yeah. So
I have told them next time, don't you ever talk to me like that ever again. But I let them ride with it for at least a second because they
okay.
Just
so I listen. I'm gonna be.
I've never done it because I can't do what I do that way. Like I can't get jiggy.
Listen, I literally would have to have someone draw me a picture about how this looks because, and I have no idea. Like, if it's what I'm thinking, to me it would be very painful. You know, I would much.
Well, literally. So let's break it down.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna break something down that makes a difference. Because guys hang a different way. Some guys hang down, some hang up, some hang to the left, some hang to the right. So for the down guys, they tend to enjoy it more. The down or the left right guys. The up guy, not as much.
But a guy has to be on all fours. Does he not?
But that's the whole point. That's the whole point that I'm saying. That for me,
and a lot of men do not want to be on all fours.
I think do shit for certain reasons. Number one, that requires bending over and in my I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that. And plus my shit bends. It bends.
I'm
doing this shit. My shit is bending. It's getting cold. It's just
Okay, Ron,
it's
it's
a torture
okay.
situation. It's a torture situation.
Baby, it's all right. We got you. No second from the back. We got you. Calm down.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I can't see that. I'm with Haran on that. I don't. A woman being back. No, that's what I'm trying to figure
I don't
out.
know.
Like, and not just that. I think it's much better if, to be honest, I liked. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Like, it's like if a woman's head is like hanging off the bed this way, and you're coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's much better because you know it's. You go deep down, down or whatever. But
I just want to mention something. A lot of this so-called freaky shit, a lot of these niggas is into nowadays requires them having their ass up in the air. Maybe you need to really come to terms with certain things, man. Like, she a freak. My ass was up in the air, like, whoa.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with that that particular act. A man has to be on all fours, and men are paranoid as it is. So they're like, well, not a lot of men that's going to be in that position. Like,
I don't. It doesn't parallel. I just don't want. Listen, a woman's face should not be anywhere on the back, near the backside of it. It's just not proper for. Men are disgusting.
What about after a good scrub and bubble bath and being still? You'd feel like, no, get away from my asshole.
Oh man. I don't know. Maybe if I'm drinking or something, who knows?
Yeah, drunk no thing to go for it. I think drunk no thing to go for it. Drunk no thing out the side where I think we'll go. Because I was actually shocked at no thing. I thought no thing would be like oh, I've done that before. I was really shocked at you.
Let's get out of it. Let's get out of the fellas' household.
See what Byron has said? Y'all get in no argument, and then she'll say, "Shut up, nigga! You was on all fours." And crying. Yep. Y'all get in no argument. And then she'll be like, "Yeah, remember when you had your ass up in the air, making Winnie the Pooh?"
Kari, we just send the bat signal for Kari. There he is. No, it's not ass eating. It's a man getting head from behind when he's on all fours and he's getting head from behind, you know what I mean, depending on if he's long enough to even have that go on. All right, guys, so let's get out of the men's assholes and go into the topic. Everybody, you can unclench your cheeks. Guys, relax. You're safe here. Byron said that's what Vivica tried to do to 50. Oh my.
That's what they say.
Okay, so tonight's topic, I don't know how we're going to go from that to this, but we're going to try. Okay? Kari said on all fours is crazy. Ooh, things we do for love. The things we do for love. All right, so tonight's topic is something that Mario Lopez is bringing to the attention of the algorithm. Is code switching fair game? I'm asking, is code switching fair game? Some people claim they did not know he was Mexican. And then we have Post Malone, who also did some code switching, I think. We have the hip hop Posty. And now we have the Contra singer, Posty, right? That's a bit of a huge actual code switch. Right? From regular to country star. But then we have
Miley Cyrus.
Little Nas X.
Little Nas X, Miley Cyrus. So and then K Michelle did it backwards. Because now and I want to report, remember we were talking about that. I was saying that she's been wanting to do a country album since the beginning of her career. So she's finally there, and she performed at the Country Music Awards. So congratulations to her for living her dream. But she did it backwards. She went from the R&B hip hop to.
Okay, now is she Southern, or is she just some chick from Atlanta? Because there's a difference.
No. She's actually from Memphis, and she went to school for yodeling. She was actually for scholarship. She went through college through yodeling. I never thought that you can do that, but she went to college.
All right, okay. I wish some of these reality show personalities realize that their characters on reality shows affect their art, because there's nothing that K Michelle could drop that I would listen to, because I don't like how she is. I don't like how she is. And had I never seen her on a reality show, I'd probably be more open to listening, because I would be like, "Oh, a black woman country singer." That would intrigue me. But then I would see it's her, and I'm like, I don't want to hear a fuck that comes out of this woman's mouth about anything. I don't care if it has a melody to it. I don't want to hear it, right? And that's also happened with some of our celebrities that were already big in their genre, and then we saw them on social media and we're like, oh, right? Like Tyrese, we loved his music, and then we saw him on social media and we're like, oh, now I can't listen to Sweet Lady the same way. I can't listen to How You Gonna Act Like That the same way, because now I hear his voice and his stupidity on Instagram. You got to be careful about that shit. You turn people off. And the people that applaud you ain't buying your record. So be very careful. So I wanted to talk about that. I do have a clip of Mario talking about it. It seems like he got annoyed by it, and this was his little clapback. He was like, "Y'all ain't coming for me, but since you have, here we go." Mario said, "Not on today, not on my tacos."
They've been thinking I'm everything from Italian to Hawaiian, but I'm not. That's the weirdest thing. I was born in Chula Vista, border town right there in Tijuana. My parents are from Culiacan, Sinaloa. And I think it's because I've been doing these food videos on social with my homies. And it's a lot of Mexican food, a lot of mariscos. I love to eat. And, I'm saying food and homes and a lot of like slang and just kind of being yourself. And I can't be like that on Access Hollywood or my radio show. I'm trying to cash these checks. I can't be sounding all hood like that. I gotta keep it a little more polished and buttoned up. But my whole circle is even Mexicano. That's Tootie. Tootie don't look it with those little nana glasses, but he's Mexican. That's Cornejo from Tijuana. Hey, viva! But I think it's funny. Twitter, you wild. You wild out there. Gracias por todo. Nos vemos pronto. Mwah. Besos.
Okay, so he admitted something that a lot of people would not. He literally said, I have to cash these checks. I can't sound hood on Access Hollywood. He said it. A lot of people do it, but he admitted it. Okay, so what do you think about that? I always knew he was Latin. He didn't look white to me. Saved by the Bell kid, right? He didn't look white to me, but apparently they were saying, why is he talking and acting Mexican now on social media? So he wanted to confirm, well, I am Mexican. Okay, viva la raza. So what do you guys think about that?
I think all this code switching shit is bullshit, because niggas code switch like a motherfucker when it's time to go to court. You niggas real when it's time to go to fucking court. You got proper diction. You're in a suit. You say yes, Your Honor. No, sir, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. You do all that shit when your motherfucking life is on the line. So all that other bullshit about I'm never supposed to, I'm gonna keep it real. Man, fuck out of here, nigga. The fuck out of here. You'll do whatever the fuck you need to do to survive. If you were stuck in if you're in the boardroom and you're having a major situation going on, and you can move in those circles a particular way, but you're from the mud, you're gonna move 9 times out of 10, you're gonna move in terms of how the atmosphere moves. Now, does that mean that you're gonna act the same way if you're trying to drag your fucking alcoholic girlfriend out of the trap house? Are you gonna sound like you just spoke to the CEO of Microsoft? Of course not. You're gonna change for the setting. So to have this idea that no one ever code switches and you got to keep it real, that's bullshit. Because we let white people code switch like a motherfucker when they try to be down to us and come to the goddamn cookout.
There's a thing that I think people forget. I think it's called there's a time and place for everything. That sums it up. I mean, it's, for instance, you're not gonna, be in your place of work and then go just take a piss in the middle of the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like just little things like that. Like it's just, you have to like switch things up depending on the location and the environment that you're in. I think that's just smart. I mean, there's also such thing as when keeping it real goes wrong. I used to love when was it Chris Rock did that? Was that Chris Rock or was that? I
Wasn't
think
that
it
a
was.
living, was in Living Color?
I think it was Chris Rock. I think it was Chris Rock. They had when
Dave
keeping it
Chappelle.
real goes wrong.
It was Dave Chappelle. It was Dave Chappelle. That was his.
Okay, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that was his.
So I love that because we've seen that. If you're from the hood or whatever, we've all known that person who was always hell bent on keeping it real. They gotta let everybody know, they gotta be the side. I don't change up for nobody. But then when you see the consequences they get from it, you're like, how's that working for you? Um, you look at Amanda Fields. She's a perfect example of when keeping it real goes wrong. Now she's down to the Instagram begging her followers to buy something. I don't know what they supposed to be buying, but she's like, when I come out with something, just buy it, okay? Because ain't nobody giving me no damn job, okay? You know. So, but that's what happens. You end up down to social media begging your followers for donations. Coming from a major network show where she was problematic, she always has to speak up, and I did a video. I think Jen said it was like one of her favorite videos I did. And I was talking about the three questions that I asked myself, right? And it's like, does it need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? And does it need to be said by me? And if people can ask themselves those three questions sometimes, it can save them maybe some job and some coins.
So yeah, I find this kind of interesting, and I'm gonna piggyback on what both Lily and Haran said. It is unreasonable to think that the world around you, that you can be how you are and speak the way you want to speak, when the world around you in, say, corporate America and other places aren't going to move. Like, some people think that you ought to have I should be how I want to. Listen, we have news. All those people don't sound like that when they start off. They get trained to sound a certain way. And the ones that do it the best will move up, right? Nobody's like, there's a lot of code switching. There's code switching for the people in news. There's code switching in corporate America through different, the thing I think about Mario, I thought was interesting is, like, even to go back into his environment, like, we all do it. I think we all do it. I think if you move from one place, like, I didn't always sound the way I sound today. I used to have a much stronger accent, but I moved around. So I wasn't mentally code switching, but you mimic what you're around, right? You mimic what you're around. But I'm sort of going into the weeds here. But my point being this, for someone to sit there and say, why is he trying to, I never thought he was anything but a Latino American. He might have been born in the United States, and it sounds like he might have not been born in the United States, but I never thought he was white just because he spoke a certain way. And if he speaks the way he was speaking with his friends with a Mexican accent, he would have got different roles. Like, what's the guy that always plays? He used to be in San Quentin. He always plays the bad. He's Latino Mexican guy playing the really rugged guy, right? If Mario spoke a certain way, he might get more of, we know how Hollywood is. He might get more of those roles, a tough gang member or something. So to me, for him to speak the way he speaks, to get on Saved by the Bell and these other shows, is just a way to move up in America, in white America. I mean, that's, they're not going to move for you, basically, is what I'm saying.
I get it. Kari says Mario has passed as Latin all these years. I don't ever recall him saying Mexican.
I do remember.
It's a
Because
tall
I
ass.
was about to say I'm not a big enough fan to agree to that, because I don't follow him like that. So maybe he's said it a million times. Just because I didn't hear him say it doesn't mean he didn't say it.
A reason why I remember is because he reminds me of my former boss, actually my very last boss. Like, same look, sound the same, act the same, and both are Mexican. But if they walked into an environment without saying my last name is Lopez or whatever, people could possibly um, confuse them for being white. Because I thought my boss was white for a long time, right? But my boss, he was actively, like he was a little bit different. Like he was the type that was actively trying to erase his culture. It wasn't just the whole code switching for work thing. He really just didn't want anything. You could tell that he was embarrassed by being Mexican and didn't really want that attached to him. So it was different from Mario.
Mhm.
Like how Mario gets on social media and with his Mexican food and embraces his culture. Because I follow me and my boss are still Facebook friends. He would never do that ever.
I mean, but think about this. I think that, and I get what Lily's saying because I'm not ashamed of the culture that New Orleans has. But in the South in general, if I had a deep Southern accent, I would try to get rid of it. I would, because it's, and I'm not saying this is equivalent to what Mario was doing, but again, in news, you're not getting very far out the Southern market if you sound like a redneck, right? And people assume you're dumb. So there's a lot of people that came out the South that get rid of that accent, and I don't think I don't know. It is what it is. But I would do it too if I had a real. I mean, to be honest, I know like Lily likes some of the New Orleans accents. I'm glad I got rid of it. I don't. It sometimes it is. Sometimes it rubs me the wrong way. I mean, there's a lot of different accents here, but I'm talking about there's certain really strong accents here that to me sound like you're dumb. Just
Well, I'm a sucker for a deep Southern accent,
I
but
love it. I love
they're
it.
dumb. I don't agree, House of Matrix. I don't agree at all. He says, I agree. Hold on. He says, I definitely agree. I didn't even know he was Mexican. He was definitely trying to hide it. His name is Mario Lopez. I think if you're trying to hide your Mexican, you're going to do like the Sheens did. Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen. You're going to change that last name because their real last name is Estevez. So you're going to change that last name. Mario Lopez. I mean, it's like, what else did you be, sir?
No, I don't think he tried to hide anything. I just think that people do what they do. They just don't pay fucking attention.
Right.
You don't pay attention to people's ethnicity. You don't pay attention to the fact that does this man look like an Asian person to you? Like what is the shock coming from? The only shock from me is that wow, that's a pretty tall fucking Mexican. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was the only shock for me. It's got pretty.
How tall Mario Lopez?
I'll be honest. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty tall for a Mexican. You know what I mean? But when he was sitting down and he was having these conversations, with his people, I wasn't shocked. I was like, what? I mean, this motherfucker wasn't, chanting, some sort of satanic ritual. He was just sitting down and having a native conversation, with his people. Like, the thing about it with me is that I guess people assume that once you, and this is the contradiction. This is the contradiction about it, because you question a motherfucker to code switch, question a motherfucker if he code switches, but you don't zero in on his ethnicity when he's on the grand stage. So subconsciously, you're erasing his, his ethnicity from him anyway. You're separating him from his ethnicity anyway. Subconsciously, a lot of these people do that when you hit the mainstream. Like once you're black and you hit the mainstream, you're not black anymore per se. If you're in certain circles, that's the point that I'm making here. So, the code switching, the whole code switching argument, it's a very strange and unnecessary argument, like most arguments.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You're right. You know what I mean? Adam Hearn, everyone has told me, even your mother. Last time I climbed that bitch. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, well, I hope she was a nice lady. I'm glad you brought up the fact that other people will do that as well, right? Meaning it won't be you that's trying to code switch or trying to erase from your culture, but people will take your culture away from you just because you don't fit the stereotype that they think you're supposed to fit for that culture. And I can attest from being a queer person and being a black person. I know I'm black first. I will be black first forever and ever and ever, right? But it's like, unfortunately, like a lot of black people like take my black card away. They take queer people's black card away. It's like you can't be both, right? So yes, other people will try to take your culture when you don't fit into their box that they think you're supposed to be for that particular thing, which is one of the reasons why I hesitate to take on labels. Because when you take on a label or align yourself with a group, then everybody wants you're supposed to do every single thing that they believe in and what they say and all of that, or you're not a real insert whatever it is that you're not a real black
Well,
person.
and that comes, if you want to, I don't, we don't have to ring the race bell, but it comes back to they're basically putting him in a box, like why, like basically putting all Mexicans in a box. Oh, why is he trying to sound Mexican now? As if Mexicans are just one way, and if you know anything, Mexicans are different. If you go from the north to the south, they're totally different people. They sound different. Their Spanish is different. There's just like the United States with different accents. The cultures are different. So I just think because he had a generic accent, then that's seen as being like a white accent. And and again, we see, like, if you can make money off of it, we see the opposite, like what Aquafina and what's the Chili Mac or whatever, China Mac or whatever his name is.
So Saint, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So Saint, you're basically saying that sometimes you do have to code switch because, hey, maybe sometimes the people around you might perceive you to be stupid, right? If you use a particular vernacular, a certain vernacular. So let's go back to the axe argument that we had many moons ago.
The what?
The axe argument in terms of ask and axe.
Yeah.
Tyree was up here and he was fighting tooth and nail for axe. You see what we're saying now? You see the point that we're trying to make right now? Because you essentially made it.
No, I agree that if you say axe, you're not going to make it, like, you're going to be viewed a certain way for sure. Right.
You wasn't saying that before, no, Saint. You wasn't saying that before. Don't be cold switching up here.
What was I saying before?
That there was nothing wrong with
it. I don't think there's
cats a pass.
Huh?
You were giving cats a pass. It was, No,
they can have a pass, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. And what I'm saying is, yeah, sure. If you're in certain,
him and Kari did, because Kari was agreeing too.
It's going to.
Oh yes.
It's going to limit where you go if you use bad grammar and there's certain jobs. Yeah, it'll limit you. Now you may be able to make it in other jobs. Where English, like sounding a certain way, customer service, boardroom. You won't be able to go to those jobs sounding a certain way. I agree with you there.
Well, but that was our whole point. That was our whole point. When we were having that conversation. No, saying that was our whole point, that you can't go further because of that. So it's not okay for the liberals and that white teacher to be like, no, it's okay because where they come from, this is how they speak. Right? That was the whole point.
It's certain episodes we do that I'll get people texting me, and like a lot of people text me and call in and stuff like that. That particular, the Axe episode, infuriated people. And I'm talking specifically No Saint and Kari. They was like, what were those two? And it was a female, a woman. I think Chocolate that night, right? They were going in, like, because of the condoning of poor grammar, especially with a black person. It's just like, we can't. Okay, this is the thing. Nobody can have it both ways. Nobody can. That's why we code switch, right? And unfortunately, here in America, Black people don't have the room to use poor grammar when we go to work and when we're, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just don't get that leeway, or that, oh, well, it's just, it doesn't happen. We're just not going to move up further. And so people were really upset because they were like, that's damaging by condoning it or saying, "Oh, it's nothing wrong with it." Oh, it's something like no, there's a lot wrong with it. So that was a funny episode.
There is a lot. Please get them likes up, my wonderful, wonderful lurkers. Kari said, if I say acts, but everything else is good, you shouldn't focus on acts, is what I was saying. You should, though. And I don't know, Kari, that doesn't make sense to me because if you can speak proper English, how do you mix that with acts? I don't understand. If everything else is good, then that means you can speak.
This is
But
the
Jen, I know you have a problem with et cetera and et cetera.
I do, just because it's
so I can see someone messing that word up, but having everything else right, and you can correct them. But I'm saying those people. The only thing I'm saying is those people will not be on your evening news. They won't be.
right.
It will count against them in a corporate setting. Again, I'm gonna have to go review that other episode because
You were all in with the dummies. You was like, yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's like, I understand where they come from, blah, blah. No, you were all in.
no, it's the same as being someone from the deep south, or they're gonna sound a certain way. That's for sure. They're gonna mimic what's around them. There's educated or not, some of them sound dumb. Doesn't mean they're dumb, but some of them sound
Not at all. Not at all. Just because you have a southern accent doesn't mean you dumb. I happen to be a
But don't say that's literally what I said on that episode.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, no saying is code switching.
Yes, that is, and I'm gonna tell you why I know I said that because
Maybe
that's what
maybe
my
it's
mom
growth.
says all the time. Like that, the reason why I know my mother says that all the time. Like that's why she wanted us to make sure we practice on our grammar as we were growing up and getting toward working and things like that. And because of what you just said, she always said people are going to just assume you're dumb. Sometimes they're just going to assume you're dumb because you're black. Then you come in and then you talk like that. It's like, oh yeah, I knew it. So it's like we got to understand that people put stereotypes on us, positive and negative, right?
I used to have a Jamaican accent back in the days. My Jamaican accent was stronger. At times, you can hear it pop out. In particular.
So let's hear something.
Nah, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah.
No.
Gorman on. That's all I know. Gorman on, like a Miss Cleo. I mimic a fake Jamaican accent. Gorman on.
No,
So how you say what is it? Bumbleclot. Can you say that? Bumbleclot?
You see what you said? Call me now, like that.
Gorman on.
Now, to people outside of the Caribbean world, when they hear that accent, they hear call. It's not that. It's call. It's ah.
We got it. There you go. See?
That's the proper way you would say that. It was like call me now, no. You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
Miss Cleo.
So that's how y'all caught her. That's how y'all caught Miss Cleo because she wasn't saying call. Because she wasn't saying call.
We can tell if somebody is from foreign and if they're not just by the way that they speak, because it's like for instance, has anyone ever watched the second season of Luke Cage? Like every single fucking Jamaican actor on there was American.
Oh no! Did you say have you seen Harlem and Jasmine Guy doing the Jamaican accent?
Yes. That is atrocious.
He's worse.
And I'm saying that it's not hard to find an out of work Jamaican, man, to actually put them in one of these fucking movies.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not hard to find out?
Yeah, it's not hard to find a Jamaican that will take on another job.
Exactly.
More like
there you go. That's what I meant to say. That's what I said.
It's the same thing with Latin. And going back to what you said, Haran, people are fucking lazy. They don't pay attention and they don't care. That is why anything that speaks Spanish, the majority of people think is just Mexican, right? The whole world, anybody that speaks Spanish is Mexican. It doesn't matter what they look like or what their hair looks like, what their nose looks like. The whole world is Mexican if it speaks Spanish. But when you are Latin, our accents are very, very distinct. When you think about Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Colombians, Cubans, our accents are very distinct. And just like Jamaicans, when someone is playing Puerto Rican on screen, we're like, hey, and listen, I confess, I played a Colombian drug lord in my last Tubi movie. It's called The Bag Girls 2. You can see it right now. It's spinning. But, you know, a couple of people was like, you don't sound Colombian. And I was like, I concede, honey, because I'm not Colombian. And I admit I didn't study the accent. So, but it's on Tubi. It's The Bad Girls 2. I play, Solera Castillo. Just check that out on Tubi.
No, absolutely. Like, I couldn't sound Guyanese if I wanted to. They have a horrible accent. Just a terrible fucking accent. Them and Trinidadians, just a horrible.
I live around a lot of them, and I finally can hear it now. I'm like,
they say shit like "Morasconte," and
yeah.
it's very.
What does that mean?
Remar?
Yes,
They do that a lot. Yes, I always.
They have this pitch at the end of their tones, and it's just very fucking annoying.
And what was that you said? What was that you just said?
Morasconte.
What is that?
You could say this. It's in the Avenue of Bumaclad, or Pussyclad, or something like that.
Look at Haran all Jamaican in this bitch. That's what I'm talking about. Let's fry some bananas, Haran. Let's go get these fucking bananas.
It's actually Spanish though. That shit is Spanish.
It is. Fuck it is. Shit. We fry some fucking bananas now. Black Lexicon says I had to learn decade. Huh?
You can make plantain?
I could.
Why didn't you make plantain in Vegas?
Because it's hard to get Puerto Rican ingredients out here. That'd be a whole, like when we come together for a month, that's for that. It wasn't for no, we got a couple days.
To bring some stuff.
Yeah. Black Lexicon says, I had to learn 2 decades ago that Mexicans and Puerto Ricans were different. Some people really don't know they are a different culture. Absolutely. To this day, it's crazy. It is.
Y'all, when I lived in Atlanta, I promise you, if you wasn't black or white, you was Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You was Mexican. I don't care where you was from. If you wasn't black or white, your ass was Mexican.
Especially if you were in LA.
And not only that, but it goes to show the influence that media has on a people, because the only Latin people to this day that they put on TV are Mexican. To this day.
Yep.
To this day. Like when you're pitching a project, if you're a Latin, the first thing out their mouth is it a Mexican project? Like they do not, other type of Latins do not fucking compute. I was on the phone, a friend of mine was on the phone not too long ago. Yes, a friend of mine was on the phone not too long ago, talking to an executive, one of their friends, about my show, just mentioning my show. The first thing that person said, I heard my friend on, no, she's not Mexican. First fucking thing they said. Because they're so used to like, it's either black, white, or Mexican programming.
Yep.
And I'm trying to change that. We are trying to change that. There are other type of Latin.
It's a very interesting. New York, it's even a New York thing. Like New York Puerto Ricans don't sound like New York Dominicans.
No.
It's just it's just very distinct, and you have to hear it. You know what I mean? A lot of people just
they don't look like them either.
It's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's very distinct.
They don't look alike.
It's a little bit rougher. It's a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, Dominicans, even the women are very bassy. It's a very bassy tone. Oye, loco, y ven acá. Even the women are they're very bassy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y ven acá, mira.
Like when I was
okay.
When I was out in the Heights and shit, man, I remember, man, like all these bros sound like they was ready to rob a nigga. I'd be like, damn, man, like they just have that aggressive, bellowing tone.
Even the kids, even the little kids.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's how I can tell, because this is a heavy Latin area too around here, and that's how I've been able to tell that, and the way they dress. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans dress different.
Yeah. So I want to make it a little spicy. Let's throw a little hot sauce on it, because Haran brought something to my attention that was quite interesting. Okay. I was speaking with him about Chloe Bailey is the one that sings in like this in her chair, right? Is that Chloe or Holly?
That's Chloe.
Chloe is this one, the one that sings like this.
The one humping her
Cringe.
chair.
Okay. Yeah. Chloe's the one that humps her chair when she sings. Okay. So we were talking about Chloe Bailey. And I was showing him a video of her speaking, and she was like, "Nigga this and nigga that, and nigga this, nigga cheat on me, blah, blah blah." And I was like, "These are the little girls that were in the White House, right? Like they sang
Little
for
Christian girl, little
president."
Christian girl.
Yeah, like I'm like, this is a singer. And Haran has some knowledge of her in the past, right? So I was like, is this a code switch? Is she acting blacker than she has to? I told you it's gonna get spicy. What's acting black, Jen? Bitch, you know what acting black is. Get the fuck out my face. If you're watching this right now and you just got offended, you know what the fuck acting white is, you know what acting black is, and you know what acting Latin is. Because as soon as you hear a black person with proper English, the first thing you fucking say is, why you talking white? So we all know what something sounds like, and we all know what a stereotype is. So don't look at me like that. Any T way. What I was saying was, is Chloe Bailey acting blacker? Wrong.
Look, the way she said the word nigga, I was like, I felt very offended. I felt very fucking offended.
Wrong accent.
When she
Wrong
said
accent.
the word nigga, I was like,
Wrong accent.
There's some white people that I've heard say the word nigga, and I wasn't even as offended. I was like, yo, it's a little harsh.
Why did you feel that way?
Because it felt, because for a number of reasons. This little girl, you know what I mean? I remember her running around the fucking studio, you know what I mean, being a little fucking kid. You know what I mean? You know, just being an innocent little girl, her and her niece, excuse me, her and her sister, you know what I mean, just being innocent little girls, rich girls, you know what I mean? And to see her in this context, I don't see her as sexy, like at all, because to me, she's still the same little kid, you know what I mean, who ran around. So I don't see her as this. And when she said, it don't matter, these niggas, and she over here literally sounding like a Section 8 bro with like 8 kids. And I'm like, this isn't you.
I agree with that. I was a little taken aback myself, only because I don't expect that from her. If I'm looking at a Cardi B, if I'm looking at a Sexy Red or a Glorilla, I'm expecting that. But to hear her speak like that, and the other one, the mermaid, doesn't speak like that. Halle Berry.
Look,
She
listen, I hate this.
Y'all grew up. What is going on here? What is happening? What's happening?
I keep it a buck. I just want to say one thing. I keep it a buck.
Mm-hmm.
We know who gonna sound like what before they even open their fucking mouth after goddamn time.
Yeah.
If I look at a Glorilla, I know goddamn well that little girl gonna sound like before she even asks if anybody got some water in here. As opposed to like, you know what I mean, Chloe Bailey. I know what you're gonna sound like, young lady. I have an idea. I know what you usually sound like when the cameras aren't on you. And that's not you, because usually you can tell where somebody's from, and I hate to say it, you can tell where somebody's from by the way the word nigga flows from their mouth. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. You can just tell how they were raised. I don't know. Maybe it's a litmus test. I don't know. You know, but it's like usually those people too, when you try to give them, dap them up and give them a pound, it feels very awkward too. It just feels very awkward. You just, you know what I mean? Like their movements are very awkward. Mm-hmm. So in the context of that, they're code switching. They're acting black.
Okay, so
and I'm gonna tell you a couple of other people who do that. Tamar is one, and Natalie Nunn is another. You go back to old footage of Natalie Nunn, Bad Girls Club Girl, Zeus Network, Baddie Girl, and you go back to Tamar. Neither one of them talk nor act the way that they talk and act today. Both of them gave you Valley Girl.
Interesting.
We don't want to admit that they're white. Okay, when we're talking about code switching, a lot of times it's a very gray area concept, because we can sit here and we're generally speaking about race and ethnicity and so on, but we're forgetting culture. There's white people who grew up with us in the slums, in the hood, in the mud, that technically are a lot blacker than a Chloe Bailey. I wouldn't want them saying nigga in the whole 9 yards, but you know what I mean? There's a flow and a comfort and a you know what I mean, connect with them, you know, dapping up with them. They have a movement. It's natural. With Chloe Bailey, she's from a different tax bracket. She was raised differently. The word sounds awkward coming out of her mouth.
I
Like,
agree.
she practiced that nigga. Like, okay, Chloe, one more time. You got to make sure you got it. You know what I mean? Like, she practiced that word like 20 times a day before she did that fucking interview, man.
When I saw the interview, I was like, she talks like, because I remember them singing for the president. I remember them being, shuffled in and out of these very elite parties with their gowns and what have you. I mean, I had a gown on the other day. Don't get it twisted, bitch. But I'm talking about them specifically, okay? Them specifically. They're not those girls. And what bothered me, no lie, was that she was in an interview with two white men. Two white men were interviewing her. So it seems like even within her code switch, she don't know how to fucking code switch within the code switch. Those two white men don't speak that language. They weren't even hip hop white men. She wasn't talking to like Eminem and them. She was talking to two white men, and she looked so stupid. I'm sorry. She looked like a fucking bedwench talking to two white men. And they were just asking her questions. She was like, because niggas cheat and blah. And I'm like, who the fuck are you now, Cardi B? Like, this is not you. Like, Cardi B, even when Cardi B was talking to fucking Biden, no, it wasn't Biden, Bernie.
It was Biden. It was Biden.
No, she was talking to Biden and she's talked to Bernie.
Okay, Sanders. I'm talking about when she was talking about to Bernie Sanders. She wasn't talking like that either, right? So it's just like what you said, Lily, there's a time and place for everything. Why was she trying to act so hard and so hood in that interview with two white guys? And you can tell, okay, bitch, you're not really from here, because if you really were from here, in certain rooms, you talk to these motherfuckers a certain type of way. A real hustler knows that shit. You don't know. You're just trying to code switch and be cool on fucking Hollywood Unlocked in the shade room. So you throwing that word around, but it just looked real stupid in that particular room for that particular audience with those particular interviewers. It looked very, very dumb.
And again,
you know what it gave me?
What?
Well, I was just gonna say, it gave me a bad self tape. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a bad self tape. It looked like she was doing a self tape and she had to play a character, and it was like, and you got the person off screen that's like doing the other lines and stuff, and she's just like, yeah, niggas. I'm like, oh yeah, no, you're not getting the role, babe. All right.
It's akin, not even akin. It's the same thing as dude's son behaving in that same manner as a rapper, and he grew up as a millionaire. Yo, it's the same thing, because she's behaving that way because she's a particular phenotype. She's trying to sell a particular kind of music. So in her mind, she has to don this concept of blackness in order to be seen as a black woman. And that is a deeper conversation.
That's a very deep conversation.
Because again, like, look, I'm gonna talk the way I speak, you know what I mean, depending on the setting that I'm in. It doesn't remove my blackness from me. Trust me, a damn thing gonna remove my blackness from me. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. I am very proud of that. But one second, no saying. But the point that I'm making here is that due to the fact that degeneracy and just damn near diabolic behavior is so associated with us. It's like you can't, if a black person who is in the entertainment world or anything outside of politics or anything in that regard, if he or she doesn't behave in that manner, he or she is not black. Like, you got to be messy, you got to be wild, you got to be all this other wild shit. You can't behave and interact with people in a solid manner.
Yeah. I just think that this is some really good.
Been a couple times. I feel like no matter how bad of a bitch you are.
Oh, okay. No. What I was gonna say was, I think this is a great conversation because, think about this, Haran. Everybody does it, right? Everybody code switches. When you go to the military, those guys don't speak like that before they go in the military with all the discipline and all the sir, yes sir, and all that, right? It's a code switch there. We code switch, like I code switch here. When I come to work, my language is much more foul than when I'm at home. You know what I mean? We're constantly code switching. But what's interesting is when it comes to it always comes down to end up coming down to like a racial thing, right? It's like she feels like she has you sound that way because if she sounded the way she sounded before, she probably wouldn't sell records. If she sells a lot of records, I'm not sure. I know she's Halle Berry's sister, right? That's what we're talking about. And but like you can't. And white rappers do it all the time.
Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry.
Oh, Bailey. Sorry.
Yes, two of them. It's two sisters. They both sing.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So what I'm saying though is that like think about like the white rapper that has that he comes from the suburbs and Chet, and he tries to. Why? Because sounding like he sounds is not going to come off. He wants to be cool, right? And so sounding a certain way in that genre means not sounding white. So he code switches, right? And so in the corporate world, sounding a certain way won't get you so far. So people code switch. I think a lot of people, we do it all. I think we all do it.
But I think with her, yeah, we all do it. It is not race or ethnicity specific. But with her, it's bizarre, because she can sing. So she can. I don't know.
She performs. She's gonna move and
a little heavy with limbs. She throws them limbs. You're a little heavy. You be like, all right, let me throw these thighs around. So I'm just saying she can sing where she doesn't have to act hood. I think that we are underestimating the lure of ghetto. And I mean hood, ghetto, acting like you ain't got no goddamn sense, talking like this when you don't really talk like that. What happened though? I think we're underestimating the lure of that because a lot of those women are going mainstream now. The Cardi B's, the Sexy Reds. I mean, these bitches that barely speak English. They're in there. They're in there like swimwear. And they're putting them in positions on magazine covers. They're throwing out the first pitch. They're singing the national anthem. They're getting a lot of attention acting the monkey ass fools. Okay?
Right.
Krishan Rock is making 6 figures to roll around in the dirt and pull wigs off of other women on these reality shows. It is lucrative to act a ghetto ass fool now.
Yo, bro. Like, anyway, can you play the clip?
Easy was asking me where's the clip, so I'm gonna play it. She's a
beautiful piece of footage.
Yeah, she's a weird bird to me anyway, but whatever. She's not my sister, so who cares? What the fuck? Everybody do them. We just talk about it here on the block. We just talk about it, honey. Please hit that like for mama. Let me play this thing. Let me know that you can see the screen. Where is it? Share screen. Instead. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all right. Been a couple times. You know, I feel like no matter how bad of a bitch you are, sometimes niggas will cheat.
What do you think? Is it immaturity? Is it scared?
Yeah, it's not a you thing. It's a them thing.
Oh, every time.
And like anytime I find out somebody cheats, I move on. And they don't believe me. I'll tell them in the beginning. I'm like, you know, we're imperfect humans, but you cheat on me, I'm out. And they don't believe me till their number is blocked.
How do you find out they're cheating on you? They just straight up tell you?
God, Instagram, life.
All the above.
Them not putting away evidence, panties, hair ties.
You found panties.
A lash extension on the shower floor. That's not mine. And I haven't been wearing lashes for a while. But I kept that to myself. I just waited to just collect more evidence.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How long would you like wait before you would tell someone? How much evidence did you need?
Till they can't.
Sorry that you got cheated on.
It's all right. Been a couple times. You know, I feel deny it till I can't be gaslit out of it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nobody
I'm
deserves
chilling.
that. I know
I'm
you are. You're
thriving and
doing
great.
great. But
You know, let me tell you something. I've just thought of it while I'm here with you. The glow up period after a breakup is great. And I'm usually the one who breaks up. Yeah. But the thing is, it's the cancer. I still am attached. So even though I broke up with the person, I'm still crying. I'll be on the treadmill, on the Stairmaster, just to do something to get my mind off of it. So the glow up out of it is great.
you're right.
And the songs that come out of it,
yes.
great.
Fuck yeah.
And when I was younger, I'd always be like, God, I want to meet my person as quick as possible. But if I have to go through heartbreak a couple times for some music, I'll do it. Because Adele, I said that when she put out 19. I was like, if I have to go through that to make that, or Miseducation of Lauren, all of that, I was like,
you manifest.
Deny it. Till I can't be gaslit.
Okay, so that's that's part of the interview that we're referring to. I'll pass the mic after this. What I find most surprising is at 25 years old, she sounds like a 45-year-old auntie. That's what I found. So like the misery and I got cheated on lots of times. I'm usually the one that breaks up. If you got cheated on, he left first. But that's another topic. Haran, what were you saying?
I don't know, man. I mean, again, when I heard the word nigga and bad bitch, and her diction, and her posture, and her proper way of saying it, it literally sounds like I asked Siri, when was the last great relationship you had? And he's like, I don't know, Haran. When you're a bad bitch, niggas cheat on you all the time. like, wow, Siri, that's fucked up. What works out for you? You know?
Terry been through a lot, though.
So, and she continues, and it's just like this. I don't know, man. I'm going to say something crass, and I usually say this about certain women when I hear them talk, and I see them speak, and I hear them move. That pussy probably dry as hell. I just, in my mind, I'm just like,
I'm just curious, because I don't know much about pussies. But how did you get that from that? Like, how do you?
Because it's just one of those. I just feel like she's one of those chicks, like, you're trying to set the mood, you're trying to get it right, and she's like, oh, let me turn right here, and oh, no, let me move right here. Is that sexy enough? Let me move this for you, and oh wait, just move this to the right, and oh wait, you can't get into the flow of things. When I look at her, I'm like, I don't get that.
Okay, so I don't know if a pussy is dry, but I do agree with you that when she was speaking, I was like, I can see why a man would cheat after the initial, oh, I'm fucking with Chloe Bailey. I could see how a man would eventually be like, get the fuck, like, I'm not putting up with your attitude. Why? Because you got a fat ass. You know how many fat asses I see with her attitude and her tone and her demeanor. I can see why a man would be like, next, let me go.
Like, she's the kind of chick to call you by like your full name, like literally like your full name. Like, Michael Montgomery Johnson, I called you this morning. Where were you? And you're like, the fuck? Like, it just, everything feels like a formal occasion. Women like that, I can't see, feel, or sexy doesn't flow off them naturally.
Yeah, but she acts and the funny thing is that she acts very sexual, but I think her movements are awkward because she's 25. She claims that she hasn't slept with a lot of men. So I'm like, why that act? I had a friend who used to strip like that. Her name was Delilah, R.I.P. girl, R.I.P. But she used to like strip. Right. Like, she used to dance. We used to all hang out and like support our stripper friends and hang out with them till, closing, whatever. We were fucking young. Okay. We used to hang out with the stripper friends. And she used to dance really hard. Right. And then I'm like, why did she dance so fucking? Even though I was young, I was like, that looks awkward. It doesn't look fluid and sexy and sultry, just fucking hard. Like, I'm like, it's Anyway, yeah.
Like,
Chloe's a very hard
I'll give
sexual
you two
person.
examples. Like Beyonce, you know, anytime she speaks and she talks, she sits down. I don't get sexy, even though she behaves in a sexual manner or she moves in a sexual way. I don't get sexy. Now, Rihanna, she could literally sit down in a fucking t-shirt and some fucking shorts, and the way she talks, answers a question, like every time she even opens her mouth, I'm saying to myself, like, God damn, this woman must be a hell of a time. You could just see it. You could just see the long nights and the toxic evenings and the running back to her because this is a crazy woman whose sex is incredible. Like, you could just see it, but she doesn't try. It just flows off of her naturally. It's just a natural thing. Real sexy women, real women who exude sexiness, they don't even have to try, man. That shit just leaks out of them.
So there's another thing I was noticing too is that she's not only trying to act more black, but she was also trying to basically what you said. She was giving she was trying to act like a woman who's been through this hell and back, honey. Oh, child, let me tell you about these two men I dated, girl. Woo, child. And I'm like, yeah, probably had like two partners. Probably only slept with one of them, right? Like, girl, no, ma'am. Like, why are you in a rush to have this horrible so you can join the rest of the miserable motherfuckers on social media? That's what it was giving me. It sounded like and the reason why it's giving me that because I'm also putting it up against everything else she's been doing, and all of it together collectively makes me think like, oh, she just is looking for some communities and some places to fit into. So it's like the ratchet girls, the cynical aunties that have been through hell and back and been dogged up and down. You know, they get together and talk about how horrible these men are. Like that's what she's giving. Like she wants to fit
You know what?
into a group.
You girls need to talk about this shit. 20 is the new 40 when it comes to these women.
Oh, well, hold on.
These guys is like 20 years old, 20 something, and they sound old, they look old, their bodies are shaped old. They just like, it's just like with these, like some of them got wrinkles. You're 25, you got that. I don't know, man. This generation of black is cracking. It's cracking like a motherfucker. It's cracking. It's splintering. It's breaking down. It's just it's in a bad space.
Yeah, I had somebody on my Facebook today. She's in her 30s, and she posted, "Oh, us 30 somethings, we age pretty well. Like, we aging good." And I was like, "Oh no, something." And I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. And I was like, "I've been thinking the opposite." like like I'm like the 40 and overs are like aging backwards. The 40 and under are like trying to catch up to the 40 and overs, right? That's what it's looking like to me when I walk the streets every day. Um, and then it was crazy because this is on her page, and I was noticing I was getting all these alerts all day, and everybody was coming and liking my comment on her page. So I was like, okay, it's not just me. Y'all motherfuckers look old. I'm sorry. Y'all look old. Like I see it every day. I'm just like, what? I was at the store the other day, or not the other day, but recently, and this young man, I could tell he was young just by his energy and demeanor. I was confused though, because his face looked like he'd have been through many things. And when he told the guy behind the counter, man, you know, because I'm 17, I'm trying to take care of my daughter, I literally turned around looking like, dude, you look older than me. I really wish I could have taken a picture, y'all. Y'all wouldn't believe this man look older than me.
I really think too, and you know, we will find out maybe in 30 years. Thank you for the super stick of the queen. How are you, doll? We will find out in 30 years, but I really do think that social media has a lot to do with it. I don't think it's natural I don't think our bodies, our brains, our minds were meant to ingest this much information, this much toxicity, these many opinions, because the younger people are looking older, not only looking older, but acting older, like you said, like, oh, my whole world is fucked up, and and the bombardment of like the toxicity in reality shows. Everybody want to be that bad bitch that man is cheating on, girl. Because let me tell you what happened. Like, it's weird. It's weird that this is how these kids are acting. So I cannot stand, and let me tell you, I love me a sexy motherfucker. Okay, I love man or woman. I love people that just exude that, and they do that quite naturally, just sitting somewhere, from how they hold their glass to how they sit in a chair, how they speak, right? How they use their hands. This little girl gets on my every fucking nerve with her sex kitten act, and I'm gonna pull up a video. Now the guys may like it, right? Because it's tits and ass, and she's every time she sings, she got a bucket, right? I find it quite annoying. You guys may enjoy it. I'm gonna play the video, but she's cosplaying sexy, in my opinion. She's cosplaying femme fatale, in my opinion. That takes some time. Sorry to tell you, it takes some time. Okay, it doesn't happen at 25 unless you're some sort of hooker, but it takes some time to get there. Okay, it comes with maturity. It comes with experience.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit that she's doing doesn't taste good. And why am I playing on here? She like the type of broad to get dressed up in lingerie and bump into the wall and ruin the whole fucking mood and shit. You know what I mean? Like, she that kind of chick. Like, you know what? Just put your clothes on. That's,
it's really interesting, because when I'm looking at it, I can't put my finger on it, but you just know it ain't right. Like, I'm looking at her thinking she's a cross between Jessica Rabbit and Marilyn, trying to be like Marilyn Monroe a little bit, maybe. It just doesn't look right. Like, I was thinking to myself back, in the 90s, like Mariah Carey. She looked sexy when she did everything, it didn't look unnatural. And for some reason, like you said, and the reason I say Mariah Carey, because they don't sound alike, but they both can sing, right? This lady obviously can sing very well. If I just listen to it, it sounds great. But looking at it, I was just like, yeah, it just doesn't come off right. I don't know. Some people can do it, and some people just, she's just not one that can pull that off.
So I say sexy has to be in you, not on you. And it's on her, right? She's like, no, and I'm like, it's just all so like, and it's like, she's like, it's kind of like, she makes you feel like a stage mom. Like, go ahead, you can do it. Like, just okay, yeah. You don't relax. Like, Dan, is this like a Sade, watching Sade? Like, that's a sexy motherfucker, man.
There you go.
Like, some people is just like, ooh, she look like she'll put something on you. But this girl tries so hard, and then she admits, I did a sex scene, but I felt awkward because I haven't had a lot of sexual partners, and but so you push it. Why are you pushing this? Why? Like, you can sing.
Right.
Honest. He said it was like watching a shapeshifter.
I don't think she believes in herself enough. I don't think a lot of people, you know what? Again, I bring it up, but you don't see Doja acting like this, man.
Oh, I love me some Doja.
She acts like her fucking self, and the main reason why I fuck with her like that is because she's just like, she's on some punk shit, like fuck it, like punk music shit, like fuck it, this is me. Yeah. I am in support of artists who are like that. Artists used to be like that. Somewhere down the line, motherfuckers got too caught up in the idea of cloud, and you got to chase the numbers and worry about how many followers you have and so on and so forth. And this is the result of that. People who feel that in order to be seen, they have to become a caricature or something. They literally have to become something that they're not. Yo, ironically, we were talking about Will Smith earlier. Will Smith came out and he was doing that dumb, goofy shit at a time when nobody was really doing that, man. Mm-hmm. But he was himself. He was himself doing that stupid, goofy shit with his moms and the rollers and shit like that. It was funny. You know what I mean? But he was himself. I wish that I wish we were in a time right now where a lot of these artists unapologetically were themselves, and whether that's musicians, comedians, writers, so on and so
Doja
forth.
is that. Doja is unapologetically, this is what I am. Y'all will get over it. I don't care. And I
Yeah.
love artists like that. That to me is an artist.
Yeah, like know what, like Jen, you always say this about, know what lane you're supposed to be in. Like, Tracy Chapman wouldn't try to pull that shit off. I mean, Tracy Chapman.
She gave me Tracy Chapman trying to pull that shit off.
Yeah.
Tracy Chapman knew what her style was and knew, what she was good at. And that's what she did. And she was great at it. Yeah, it seems like this she can really sing really well, but then she's trying to do something that she can't do well. And so it comes off looking kind of goofy.
Right, that's right. And then it takes away from the vocals because you're just watching her do this. It's like, what is going on there? What is that? What is that? You need some water? What you okay? And it's that even when she dances, she's so heavy with the choreography, and she's usually wearing these big clunky shoes. She's just, I don't know why she does it. It's like she's acting more hood than she has to act. She's acting more sexy than she has to act. She has a big old pair of tits. She has a fat ass. That's enough. Like she walks in, that's enough. You're already going to be looked at as a sexual being, right? Just walking in shaped like that. You don't have to grind the chair every time you sing. And you're fucking around in territory you don't belong in and you don't understand. Again, I am not surprised she's getting into relationships and they are cheating on her, right? They're already looking at her a certain way. And I don't care how many times she uses the word nigga or acts like she's hood. She will never be more slick than a man. She just won't. Not coming from where she's coming from. She will never be more slick than a rapper. She's not going to be more slick than these dudes out here in the industry. She's going to get herself in trouble. She thinks she got problems at 25? Okay.
She needs to really get on. Like if she was singing that, she was singing "Loving You," and she sang it in the manner that fits her. Like maybe some happy-go-lucky shit. Her walking through the fucking, forest. She got like little cartoon birds, coming on her shoulder. She's like, she's feeding like cartoon rabbits and shit like that.
Oh, that shit would hit big. It would hit. Why you think Nicki Minaj was acting like a 16-year-old the whole first 5 years of her career? Katy Perry acting like a fucking 16-year-old the whole first 5 years of her career. Big Money and acting like a fucking child and wearing pink all the time. With
Jen, I could not believe when I played the video game Call of Duty and Nicki Minaj is a character that you can buy.
Wow.
Yeah, her and 21 Savage. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, who is that? And I looked, I was like, Nicki Minaj.
No, y'all gotta check out the 21
And
Savage
Snoop
one.
Dogg. Snoop Dogg is on there.
So I want to see if they did with Snoop what they did with 21 Savage because they got 21 Savage looking like a savage. I'm like
21 Savage looking like a savage.
He's looking like a savage.
Voices and everything. I don't know what Nicki. I know. The only reason I know is because Snoop Dogg. You can always hear him talking during the game or whatever. So I'm sure Nicki Minaj is doing the same thing, whatever phrases they. But yeah, it was crazy. But anyway.
That's a code switch like a motherfucker because Nicki's usually talking about getting people killed and but she okay, all right, Nicki, I see you.
She's shooting and killing. That's what she's doing. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. The Queen.
I ain't gonna lie though, it kind of made me want to have a game because the shit was kind of like, oh, I want to be a character. I don't play shit, and she don't play shit either. So why can't I be a goddamn character? I want to have a big gun and look cute and sexy.
We need the you could buy the Sisterhood Sips for a game.
That's it.
Come on, bam, bang.
One day, Lily, you might be on that game one day.
We're gonna be characters, assassins.
The Queen, I like that comment. The Queen says, "I think she suffers from no identity," and I think that's why it looks so awkward because she's just going with whatever's hot. Okay, everybody's on stage in panties. Fuck it, I'm the protege of Beyonce. I'm gonna be on stage in panties with the blonde hair, with the, and it's like it's sad because it's like fuck the talent, you know what I mean? The talent these girls have. Halle Bailey seems to be her sister, the Little Mermaid, the one that played the Little Mermaid. That's her sister, no saint. I think she's sticking to her. No, this is just, who I am. Although she got knocked up by a rapper, that's a whole other show. I was like, dang, you just did the Little Mermaid. Now you got a gut full of rapper. Why? Why? But whatever. It's neither here nor there. That's a whole different show. But got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful. A whole pregnant mermaid running around here.
I'm like, come on, like your star was, you know what I mean, just blowing up, and it's like now you running around with a rapper bit. Now you're a baby mama.
As a matter of fact, I actually watched it last week with my niece, and it was good.
The Little Mermaid, wonderful. It was so
Yeah, so it actually.
Karan, in April, when we all get back together in April, we watching The Little Mermaid together, like one big happy family. Popcorn. Come on, Haran, me,
I mean, the choices are Little Mermaid and Barbie.
Ooh.
Who made these choices?
You're being voluntold. You voluntold.
I need to discuss these things with the committee.
You want to eat?
See?
Right, the eating committee, the food committee.
You see how they threaten you? You see? It's always either food or sex. It's always either one of those. Either way, they starve you out, no saint.
Oh, no saint's been married for 20 years. He understands what you're talking about.
These are the three choices y'all get. And when you watch it, you cannot fall asleep. That's the fucking rule. Because if you fall asleep, that don't count. And we got to start all over again with a new movie. So these are your three choices.
Well, if I do that, y'all gonna have to watch a movie with me. And y'all have to stay there.
You can swap in those windows.
You motherfuckers be having like ADD. You watch some shit for like 5 minutes and you fucking with your phone. And then
no fucking with our phones. No fucking with our phones.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out what movie. And I'm gonna make sure that shit is some fucking. I'm gonna make sure that shit is
some.
The
fucking Matrix. Because
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get some dude shit.
The Matrix makes my head hurt. Sorry.
Kind of crazy. There's
like maybe you sit there and watch the Expendables with me or some shit like that.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Necessary Evil coming through. Our homegirl says, I code switch daily at work. Surgeons hearing my heavy Louisiana accent always comment on it and therefore think I was some clueless backwoods woman I'm very mindful not to speak Creole accent at work. Ooh, I didn't know you was
I didn't either.
In Louisiana. I was down there. I was in New Orleans. My baby's down there. Where in New Orleans you at?
Yeah, and she just like that's exactly what No Saint was saying earlier. Like, exactly, literally to the T from New Orleans and everything.
Yeah. But what I was going to also say,
that accent. Oh my god,
I know, but there are different. But what I'm saying is there are different accents in New Orleans. So some of them I'm all right with. There's some of them.
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, he's
fine.
I
love his accent. I love his accent.
Fine.
Do you watch Swamp People? The people that hunt the alligators?
That's Cajun. Yeah, that's Cajun. That's outside.
I love the Cajun accent.
Southern Louisiana, but it's right outside. But
I love that one.
It's not as sure. It's not exactly. New York has a ton of accents, but there's quite a few down here too, because of the different settlements for Italian, German, Spanish, and French. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ones, but there's certain one like in Chalmette. She'll know what I'm talking. Necessary even knows what I'm talking about. That I can't deal with.
I feel like that about the DC accent, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Baltimore accent drives me nuts now.
Do you see how white these teeth are? Crest White Strips works, honey.
They do. I just did mine. They work very well.
They work. And it's cheaper than going to a dentist and getting a whitening. All right, so the 3 movies before we close out, gentlemen, you got 3 choices. Okay, the Barbie movie, The Little Mermaid, or The Notebook.
Why it has to be all this chick shit, man? Like, yo. I don't know, man.
Think about it.
I might be prepared to go on a fast that week.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're gonna smell the ribs and the steak. You're gonna smell the ribs and the steak.
I might be prepared to do it. I might just.
So you're gonna smell the ribs and the steak.
I might.
And watch it and listen to what's and because we're gonna block Uber Eats from coming to the house. So
Look,
that's
I will walk. I will be a walking motherfucker. I get the
We're gonna have popcorn and we're gonna watch it like a happy family and we're gonna like it.
I'll walk to the strip.
That's it.
I don't know.
No Saint, which one out of the three are you leaning towards?
I swear to God, no Saint. If we sit down, we watch this shit, and you start crying, I swear to fucking God, bro. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna just.
Oh, no Saint's gonna cry in the notebook.
Get the cancer. You gotta give him a pass. He gets the cancer pass.
Crying in Little Mermaid too.
You start welling up and shit like that, I'm leaving.
Oh my God.
I don't know about Barbie.
I don't know. I that's
You gotta think about it.
Cause you watch. Like,
I mean,
it's got a girl in it. It's got Pam Grier.
Yeah, I don't really want to see them Little Mermaids, so that one's out for me. But you know, I've heard things about Barbie, the Barbie movie. I heard it wasn't half bad, so who knows? Maybe Barbie.
Margot Robbie's in it. You guys like her?
This agenda is attached to the Barbie movie. No Saint.
The what?
They said
an agenda.
Agenda.
Oh yeah. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Well, there's an agenda with Mermaid too. There's agendas.
They're gonna try to tie you up if you watch Barbie.
All right, so we got okay. Then there it is. We settled. We're watching Barbie, guys. You're wearing.
Barbie.
Thanks for voting. Thanks for voting, Haran. We really appreciate you settling the tie. Thanks, Haran, because that was a hard tie. Thanks for settling the tie.
You guys got to get pink polo shirts. We will wear pink and we'll watch Barbie. Real men wear pink. What about Cameron? There you go.
Wear pink. No, that's Cameron. Cameron do a lot of shit that motherfuckers don't know about.
Ooh. Next
time. We're discussing things that Cameron does.
That nigga slept
when the hell does that before we go, when the hell does that Tasha K interview drop? Does anybody know the one with
it dropped already?
It did?
Clip.
Already.
The clip?
That was just a snippet?
Yeah, that was just a snippet. I'm pretty sure she's probably gonna put it on her app first.
Well, I ain't paying for nothing. That lady selling.
I'll tell you one thing. Tasha K does a lot for a motherfucker that owes somebody money.
Right.
Thank you.
She be doing a lot.
You're right about that.
That's money, a young lady.
Let me see when it comes. So yeah, she just dropped a 2-minute clip and he was talking about Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I wonder if it's going to be on. Did she say if it's going to be her app or her page?
But it says TashaKLive.com.
Yeah, her app.
You got to pay for that?
I think so.
Well, no. I'll wait till it's on YouTube. I ain't giving her damn none of my money.
No, because we ain't paying Cardi back with our money.
Hello. No.
Because all that going to Cardi B. I ain't do nothing to Cardi B to be paying her.
You see the hundreds of celebrities that you look at Instagram. You see the hundreds of celebrities that I've done business with, done things with. And during the latter years of our relationship, Will was not my friend. I was his friend. I was around before they had Trey. Jada was the woman that everybody wanted. And Will needed that validation to have that type of woman. You saw her say that Will Smith had a small dick? Oh, I am saying to you, if a woman is used to something the size of a baby leg, and you come in with a pinky toe, there's nothing you can do to please her. You can buy her 80 cars, you can get her 80 private jets. If she's itching for that baby leg.
Oh my God.
So that's a great topic, Lily, because we're going to do on Sisterhood Sips, we're going to have a topic about penises, sizes, shapes, colors, circumcised, uncircumcised. We're going to do a whole entire episode on penises. So it's interesting. He's talking about baby legs and pinkies. So again, I'm sure a lot of what he's saying is embellished. I'm sure a lot of it is bullshit, but I'm sure there's some truth in there. There's some truth in there. So we'll wait till it hits YouTube because I'm not paying Tasha K to watch her shit.
No, because she
I hope out of this situation, out of this whole situation, he has an exit plan. Because first of all, the only thing that you've really shown at the end of the day is that you can't keep a secret. That's the worst branding to have in Hollywood. Now nobody's fighting you anywhere.
Well, he is. Maybe he's hoping, which I doubt, but maybe he's hoping his book is going to sell like hotcakes. However, the Smiths, as goofy as they are, have a lot of power in Hollywood.
Another thing too, let's just call it what it is, Jen. We fucking burnt out on the Smiths right now.
We are.
Jada's fucking book didn't even move that much. So if Jada didn't even move that, who the fuck is you? Okay? The guy looks like an out-of-work comedian. Like, look, let's just call it what it is. Like, the motherfuckers will be like, who? What? Oh, Will Smith? I don't want to hear about that shit. Fuck this shit. And he's not going to move these units. So
no, what's going to happen is people are going to take excerpts and just do commentary on it.
And also, it's at a time he missed the timing of it because Will has Jada has already broken this motherfucker into a simp, into a.
He should have did this. See, even Tasha K dropped this late. He should have did this before Jada did all this shit with the book. Before it created waves. In between that Chris Rock thing, but we're like smithed out. It's funny because I'm looking at the comments and somebody said, y'all better get this man security. His life is definitely in danger after this interview. Someone else said, I'm starting to worry about Will Smith. All these people close to him attacking him cannot be good for his mental health. I hope that if he ever goes into crisis, he'll still be able to seek professional help. I'm praying for Will because this just isn't right. Tasha, this is the interview that's going to pay for all your Cardi B bills. While he's telling you, I don't think that. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I don't see this interview blowing up only because it's wearing thin now. The whole Smith thing. She's gay. She's not gay. They're gay. It's an open marriage. It's a closed marriage. August Alsina, entanglement. Jada Pinkett, the book. Like, it's just too much. And it gets to the point where it's like, I don't fucking care if you have pictures of Will Smith with penises in his ears and eyes at this point. I don't even care. Like, I don't care. It's too much. It's too much. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when she drops it. I think the timing is bad. I think she tried to be strategic with the timing. I think the timing is bullshit.
Yeah, she should have broke up that Jada shit and rolled that Jada algorithm.
Yep.
That would have been funny. Jada out there doing a book tour and he come through with this bam, and everybody looking at him instead of Jada, and she's sitting over there like, listen to me. I'm revealing something. I'm revealing.
Right. Again, in today's environment, exposing is not what it used to be. Like, even these chicks dropping their sex tape. Oh, Sexy Red's the sex tape leaked. Back in the day, that would have been news for months and months and months. Now it's like, oh, did you see her vagina? It's gross. Next story.
But see, that's the problem when you live in a world now where it's very strange because the main thing that so many people in social media was the companies misusing our information, the companies spying on us, companies, tapping our phones. But here we are freely showing dicks, pussies, letting out our business out in the street, telling people things. Ain't nobody fucking asked you. Ain't nobody motherfucking asked you all that. And it's like people are freely telling all their fucking business. And when you have a world where people are just so freely telling their business, what stands out is the motherfucker that shuts the fuck up. It really is. The motherfucker that really just shuts the fuck up and just basically just looks at all this shit and just keeps it moving. Because none of this shit is healthy, man. And none of this shit is fucking sustainable. I'm burnt out on everybody. I really am. I'm just burnt out on everybody. Even this shit. Like, I'm just like,
sister his tips.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what? That's just a wonderful thing that you guys have. And the thing about it that I love about it is that you both have your own space. And it's also an opportunity for me to just not be up here that much. You know what I mean? And shit like that. Yeah, there you go. we're pushing for that. We're pushing for that show to actually explode and blow
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean, and so on and so
Them
forth.
clips been blowing up.
Them
Yeah.
clips, ooh, they getting at us in the clips. They mad, honey. They mad.
My alert's been going crazy tonight. I just been seeing us getting cussed out all night. Because you can see like the first line of everything, and they cussing our ass out.
You know what's funny, and then we can get out of here after this. You know what's funny, Lily? What I'm noticing about with Sisterhood Sips, right? We're not biased content. We're pretty fair. We talk about men, we talk about women. It's just talk, right? It's just talking about our observations. And you notice these people, the people that are commenting, are so used to being rabid animals in other people's chats, right? Like the biased channels, that they look stupid in our comments, because it's like, we're not attacking men. We're not attacking women. We're just speaking from, observations. This is how we think men are. This is how we think women are. These are our experiences. And they're in the chat like, yeah, you bitch. And I'm like, you do know we didn't say any of that, right? But they've been conditioned. They've been conditioned to be vitriolic. They've been conditioned to be animals that want to go against women. They've been conditioned. So a lot of these men and it's always the men. It's never the woman. Very, very, and I mean, needle in a haystack. It's rare
Yeah.
that a woman says something against our content, and when she does, it's usually what Jesus and God, right? Which is understandable because there's always a religious person in the group. But the men want to fight us. They want to fight us. They need to be lined up, and I'll land my plane there.
Yeah.
I think
It's
without
very
marriage,
like
I think without marriage and children, most people wouldn't have anything to really live for.
you're right. And listen, it's so funny. I thought about that last week. I'm not
Mhm.
going to tell you what brought it up, but I thought about that last week. And I was like, and I thought what you said, I said, I think that's why so many people tie their identity to their marriage and their children. Because
Yeah,
that's
because we
pretty much
can't say
what's going
anything.
on.
It's like, oh, but they won't marry you. And it's like, who the fuck? What year do you think we're in, sir? 1940. What year do you think that we're in right now? I'm
I
not very
mean,
coat.
I
I'm not.
yeah, I think that I mean, listen, we all are coming from our own perspective, and I will certainly say that, you know, when you are young, and it reminds me every time I hear that line by John Cougar Mellencamp, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. When you're young, there is a thrill. Everything's a thrill. Everything's new. And the older you get, unless you can find a way to stimulate, and sometimes it takes money to be able to do that. And if you don't have the money to be able to do that, life gets kind of old. And I will say that I'm not one that, it's not like I would check out necessarily, but I think a marriage and kids does give you something to push you to go on, because I'll be honest with you, like, I do things today, and I realize, like, I watch football, it's nowhere near as thrilling as when I was a kid watching football. I can't get that same high. It just doesn't. I like watching it. I like the game. I like watching it. But I noticed that, like, when I took my kid, it was exciting because my kid was with me. But, like, I never understood when I was a kid, and my dad's like, "Oh, I just want to watch it on TV," or he'd want to leave early in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? You know, I don't want to leave. This is great." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I'm like that. It's like I can go to the game, or I can watch it here and not have to deal with traffic. Da 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 da.
You was
But
a
there
kid
is so
when
I
you.
guess to wrapping it up to what you're saying, I think there is some truth to what you're saying, that people hang on to, they're married and have kids, not necessarily have kids to have purpose, but that it ends up, the older you get, there is something to that. It's not that, you know what I'm saying? And I guess that's kind of sad to say, but it's true. It's like I don't get the thrills that I used to
A
in
little bit
every day.
about Jack and Diane. Going in her. I
Shit.
listen. I like that song.
That was my shit, man.
Oh yeah, life goes on.
But you know what though? You know what? Look, man, there has to be a minority of people who are willing to chase their dreams, do whatever, build their businesses. You know, go full force for what they want. There has to be a minority of people who do that. It can't be everybody, because if it was everybody, then there wouldn't be a lot of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of us just want to have a kid and get married and settle down. Like, most of us have to do that for the sake of the species. And a few of us have to want to go out there and build companies and do this and do that and so on, so that these people who have families and so on do have something to look forward to, or do have a place to work and so on. So nature and the universe is very efficient in that manner.
But I think that and we're seeing it, like you said, we want to talk about social media. I hate to sound, Jen, the more we are on here and the more I see things, like things I used to think that were, no big deal, are starting to become like, oh, I see there is a problem. Like we built a society like to where we had the luxury of saying this, this is, we're not trying to survive, right? We're not trying, especially in this country. I mean, in this country, we have a lot of privileges to where if you want to eat, you can eat. If you want to, you know what I mean? Most of us aren't getting chased by lions. And so we have a lot of time to sit there and think. And I think a lot, this is going off into a tangent, but I think a lot of the reasons that so many people are on antidepressants is we really weren't meant for this kind of like the society we built. People aren't really meant for that. And
Nope.
and when I talk about things that I used to think were harmless, like I used to think, oh, cool, man, when I was a kid, I would have to, steal a nude magazine to get. And just like I tell you, the thrill isn't there anymore. I think the overexposure to porn on phones is fucking us up, because I really do, and it's fucking these kids up. And I even thought about the singer you were talking about. She's probably acting like that because that's what she sees, and she thinks she has to act that way to be sexy, because maybe that's what she says she doesn't have a lot of experience. Maybe that's what she's exposed to. It's a warped sense, and I just yeah. I mean, it's
sad.
But
No, it is sad.
it's what we were born into, though. It's that's the world we live in. I mean,
It's sad. Like I've had a couple friends over the years, like, oh, I just found out, little Johnny was watching porn on the blog, under his bed sheet, at 12 o'clock at night. And we thought he was asleep. And it's like, and the age is getting younger and younger and younger. And a lot of people participate with that. With that said, like, I don't believe in like marriage and all. It's not for me. I want to do something else with life. But I gotta say, children and family, they do give you purpose. I would not be working this hard if I didn't have my child and my grandkids. I just I wouldn't. Like, I keep their picture everywhere. I'm like, this is the reason I have to leave something for them. If there was no them, I'd be like on a beach somewhere eating mangoes, fucking the hot guy, and making shell jewelry and selling shell jewelry to the locals. Sorry. You know what I mean? But it's like, we got these kids. And
Jen, do you know how many times I have talked myself out of being a damn nomad, selling everything? I don't even have to sell shit, because when I left Atlanta, I didn't sell a motherfucking thing. I walked out that apartment and with one suitcase and came brought my ass up here. Right? That's the beauty of not having children and stuff like that. Like I was able to just literally walk out and walk into this apartment. And there's been so many times that I've wanted to say, fuck it, go be a nomad, like, and just be, right? Because shit gets hard. And I'd be like, what am I doing this for sometimes, But the reality is what I'm realizing. And the other part is, I have a niece and nephew, so I can use them as an excuse, but I don't even have them as an excuse. They're fucking well cared for. They'll never know what poverty is, right? So I really don't have anyone to leave anything to, right? Which is a cool thing because I don't have that pressure. But because I don't have that pressure, sometimes it makes me want to say, fuck everything, I'm gone. Go off grid. So that's how it is.
all right, guys. So we are out of here. Catch us on Sisterhood Sips on Sundays, Sisterhood Sips Sundays. And then on Monday, I do On the Block with Jen 1-on-1. You guys know I got that Big Daddy Kane interview coming up. December 10th, the 50th anniversary of hip hop Grammy show will air December 10th. I was there. Your girl was in the building. So I got to hang out with Big Daddy Kane. I got that one-on-one interview for you coming. follow, subscribe to all of us. Block, fall back. I want to debrief for 1 second. Good night, guys. See ya mañana on the block with Jen at Gmail for business. Thank you for all your support. See you tomorrow. Good night.